Hello, everyone. This is just looking forward to the first unit and really the first week of the course, just making clear what we need to do, talking about some of the assignments. First thing you need to do on Wednesday is your first ethical analysis. If you look at the instructions on this, what I would like you to do is not do any of the readings before you do this assignment, because this is not about applying any knowledge from what you've read from philosophers. The idea of this first assignment is just to approach your ethical analyses of these four fictional, completely hypothetical scenarios without any preparation, just doing it in the way that seems natural to you. I'm not even going to define or clarify what I mean by ethical analysis, because the idea is that you do it in whatever way seems reasonable, rational, whatever way you approach it. And then we look back at it after we've read some things. So the idea of this first assignment is, yes, to do it before you've done any readings. So just go ahead and do it. This is more or less an ungraded assignment, as long as you do it, an analysis of each one of these four scenarios, and we will be returning to these later in the semester after we've done some work in moral philosophy. But as long as you do an analysis of 1 to 2 paragraphs, just like a page or so, I guess, whatever, doesn't really matter. 1 or 2 paragraphs. Just do an ethical analysis, and that take it seriously. Do it carefully, but don't worry really too much about. You don't have to worry about whether you're conforming to my expectations. Just do it thoughtfully. Do it seriously. Don't just throw off a comment here. Do it reasonably. But really, other than that, there's really there are no standards here. It's more or less a completion assignment. But you should carefully analyze each one of these scenarios, write something in response to each one, an ethical analysis of each one. And again, don't worry about what I think that means right now. Just do it the way that seems right to you, and don't worry about it. But this is the first assignment, and after it's done, I'll be looking them over and I'll be sending out a video with some comments on selected ones that I think are interesting or hit on points that I think are interesting, and that video will come out. Let me know if you have an objection to that, having your work up on a course video. I only put up work that I think is good or interesting. But if it's not something you like, just let me know, and I'll refrain from using your work. But so that's really that's the first thing you need to do for this class is the ethical analysis one. If you have any questions about it, obviously, please let me know. But I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Then we begin to read. We have the basics of Kantianism and John Stuart Mill's greatest happiness principle. And then to supplement Mill, we have something about consequentialism. And we have some videos. So that's the next thing you should do this week for this unit is do these readings. Readings from Kant, very brief excerpts from Kant's work. Categorical imperatives, which would be very important for this class. And then John Stuart Mill's greatest happiness principle, which is also very important for this class. That is after, as the week moves along, after you've done your first assignment, then do these readings and watch the videos. I will always put up videos for readings for this class where I talk about the readings, try to help you with them, clarify certain things and emphasize certain things. And you'll see this here under Kant and utilitarianism videos. This will just take you to videos on my YouTube channel, just where I will find it convenient to store videos. It's just the quickest way to record and upload videos and store them. Just watch these videos on Kant and utilitarianism. It's to help you understand what's going on in those readings, but they're just meant to supplement the readings, not be a replacement or substitute for them. And then after you've done that is after you've thoroughly looked at these materials on Kantianism, utilitarianism, and the videos on them, then you'll be ready to do ethical analysis 2, which is due on the 27th, which I believe is Friday. And this is also an ethical analysis of a fictional hypothetical scenario, but it's not. It differs from the first one in that I don't want you to just sort of tell me your ethical ideas about it. It's really an exercise in the application of the ideas that are in Kant and Mill and the other utilitarian approach. So you have two things to do here in terms of this fictional scenario: to do an ethical analysis using Kant's principles, a Kantian ethical analysis, and then to do an ethical analysis using utilitarian principles, a utilitarian ethical analysis. So this is not really your opinion. This is an exercise in the application of ideas and principles that you've gotten from this week's readings from Kant and Mill and the other. Mill is a utilitarian, obviously, in the other thing. So this is really an exercise in the application of principles. Again, it differs from the first ethical analysis in that the first one is just your opinion, or is simply your opinion, backed up by reasoning. But this is not your opinion. This is how would Kant deal with this from a Kantian point of view. What would be the analysis here? What would be the ethical evaluation of Joe's actions? And then from a utilitarian point of view, what would be the approach? What would be the analysis, the framework in which we would analyze the ethics of this scenario? So your combined analysis should be about 250 words. It's about a page. It could be longer. But you should, give it enough space that you can actually really basically apply Kant to the scenario and apply utilitarianism to the scenario. It would be at least 250 words. I think anything less than that, you're really not giving yourself enough space. So that's the second major thing that you need to do this week is do these readings, watch the videos, and then do ethical analysis too. Finally, we have the discussion board. The discussion board is open all week, and I would appreciate it if you could post on it as early as you can. Obviously, you need to do the readings, do the material before you can do that. But if you look at the discussion board, there's a prompt here. Okay, after you've done both ethical analysis 1 and ethical analysis 2, that is, you've done these major tasks for this week, please respond to the following in one paragraph. If you had known about Kantian and utilitarian ethical frameworks before doing ethical analysis 1, would you have approached your analyses any differently than you did? Why or why not? And then you need to reply to at least one other student post. So just to be clear, when you do the discussion board, it's always like this. You have to post twice to get full credit for the discussion board assignment. One is your own post in response to the prompt. The other is a thoughtful reply to at least one other student post. So to get full credit, you need to post twice, obviously. But the idea here is that, okay, you did the first ethical analysis, and whatever way you saw fit, you approached it. You hadn't done any reading. You were just using your native, moral, intuitive abilities. And then you read a little moral philosophy that gave you a more sort of formal framework. If you had known about those frameworks, would you have done anything differently in that initial analysis? Why or why not? So just a general question. Again, this is you have to do these. This is a requirement to do the discussion board. It's worth something towards your grade, but it is not graded in the sense of I'm not really evaluating your work here. You just need to do it, and as long as you do the minimum, and I would hope you do more than the minimum. You have some interest in the class, but this is not a graded assignment, but you do need to do it. You do need to do it as instructed. So again, if you have any questions about it, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, or I'm explaining it now, so it's more. But if you do have any questions about it, feel free to contact me. But that really goes for anything in the course. You should always feel free to call me on my cell phone, or probably more likely just email me at my St. Joe's email. Let me just reiterate that I do not really look at the Canvas communication, like the Canvas email. email directly at by St. Joe's email, and you will get a response much quicker than if you use the Canvas site. So that's unit one, which is basically week one. It really is an introduction to ethical analysis, moral reasoning, in a very quick way. The idea is then, after being introduced to Kant in a very cursory way, we take a deeper look in week two, and then a deeper look at John Stuart Mill's utilitarianism in week three. Okay, so looking forward, that's the basic idea of the class. So again, that's pretty much week one or unit one. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, and I'll do my best to clarify things.